Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Pups Weekend Review. This weekend, we are going over about 17 tickers. And of course, what I'm doing is for educational purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. If you take any of these trades, of course, please do your own due diligence. Now that we've got those pleasantries out of the way, I'm going to be doing things slightly different this week. As traders, I think our process is really about education and getting better. And what I've been trying to do to some success is work on my Elliott wave counts and help myself get a little better at understanding where a stock is within its wave counts. Don't profess to be an expert, but I'm certainly getting better at identifying wave movements. And it's helped me in terms of getting in and out of trades, in terms of tops and bottoms and where wave counts are developing from. So let's start from the top and work our way down. I'm just going to be looking at some charts in terms of where I think they are and where I think they may be going. So the first one up, and I'm doing these in alphabetical order, so they're not in any particular rank, is BBIG. So BBIG, I've been tracking for a little bit. Looks like we're having a little bit of an RSI breakout, or breakout over 50, not breakout over the trend line. You can see we have a rising broadening formation here. I am tracking a potential wave 2 pullback with an ABC, looking for a break above this supply zone right here, and possibly targeting highs of the wave 1 at $6. Over $6, I think that we can confirm wave 3 activity. I'd look for some sort of gap up in this range, and then targeting potentially $9 for a wave 3 top. So that's what I'm looking for on the 2-hour chart for BBIG. That's the other thing. I'm going to be using 2-hour charts. The only reason I'm doing 2-hour charts is it gives me a little bit more candles to look at. Gives me a better sense of where we might be in terms of the wave counts. So the second chart we're looking at here is BBIO. So if I zoom out a little bit here, you can see another one with a broadening formation. So with these broadening formations, what I'd be looking for is a move up to the top. So, what I would say is maybe this is an A, B, C, D, and I'd be looking for an E top somewhere here around $80. So for the subwaves, what I see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's wave 1, A, B, C retracement, and now potential 1, 2 setup here. So this is, for those of you who hear us say in the room, a 1, 2, 1, 2. That's what I'm looking at in terms of this setting up. We had a little bit of a pullback here to the 382 on this 1, 2. So now I'm looking for that wave 3 move up potentially to around 78.50. And again, we don't know if this is wave 3, how far wave 3 can extend. Wave 3s can extend further than the targets. But what I'm looking at are generally 1.618 to 200% extensions off of this 1, 2 setup. That's where I'm targeting. And then of course, as we get closer, I'm going to be looking at other indicators, maybe RSI, are we in a squeeze, just different things like that to help me determine, all right, are we at our top? Are we nearing our top? But of course, I always say, treat this like a burger. We're not always going for the entire burger. We want to get the meat of the trade. All right, so next up is Coinbase. So Coin has been moving, not necessarily with Bitcoin at the moment, but you can see we have been in a downtrend since the IPO from up here. And generally with these newer issues, they make their opening IPO run and then they start to fade away, and then eventually they start making constructive movements back up to their IPO highs. So I do expect at some point Coinbase to trade upwards of that 430 IPO high, but it's going to take some work to get there. And I don't mind having to do the waiting game and the charting game to get it back there. I'd rather it take its time getting back up there, because of course as fast as things go up, they can come down twice as fast. So we always say stairs up, elevator down. So what I'm tracking here is again a possible 1-2 1-2 setup here, with this potential 1 still not formed, or wave 3, I should say, still not formed. So we potentially have a 1, 2, 3, 4 pullback, and our wave 5. So with this, I'm tracking an anchored VWAP coming down on the daily. We had a rejection here. So I would say over this recent high of around 260, I think we could trade this up to 275 and potentially $300. So again, going to be tracking Coinbase for a little bit here. On Dash, what I see here is a potential 1-2 within ABC, a potential wave 3, and then what I'm looking for is a wave 4 pullback here. So if we do get a pullback into this 160 zone, that could be a area to buy for a target up to $200 to $210. And like I said, if this is indeed wave 3s can extend. Maybe this is wave 4 of 3, and we got a wave 5 of 3 up here. So looking at all possibilities on Dash, but Dash does look like it's setting up for a move higher. Next up is Datadog. So with Datadog, the way I'm seeing this here is I think we are potentially in our wave 4 and starting wave 5, which I have going to about 120. So still plenty of room for Datadog to move up. You know, we took the trade on this move right here. It was pretty decent. And now what I'd be looking for is a break above about 110. Whatever the high on this is, 110.24. So above 110.24, it's possible we're in our subwave 3. And then I would use that to target maybe 118 to 120. Then we all have our 4 pullback and potentially 5, upwards of 125 to 130. But Datadog does look like it's setting up, and it might be towards the end of its run. But you know, in options world, 110 to 120, 125, I think that could be a pretty good trade. Next up is FSLR. So another thing I do with waves, I like to track the initial 1-2 channel. That generally gives me a guidelines for pullback entries. And so you could see on this subwave 3, we did have a nice gap, and gap ups in wave tend to happen in wave 3. They don't necessarily, I mean, they could of course happen in wave 1 and wave 5, but when you get these big gap ups like this breakaway gap up right here or acceleration gap up, those tend to signify a wave 3 movement. And so we did have I'm tracking a wave 1 up, and then an ABC correction to our wave 2, and then a subwave 1, 2, 3. So we have a 3 of 3. That's usually, you know, your wave 3 is going to generally be your longest, but never be your shortest wave. And then you usually have some sort of triangle, you know, contracting triangle in wave 4. It's kind of what we're seeing a little bit here. And so I think over about 94.20, we might start to see our wave 5 of 3. That could bring us to about 100 to 104. Of course, like I said, just to reiterate, wave 3s can extend, so we can get higher there. But what I'd be looking for, if we did hit this 105 region and start to fall away and break 400, a possible wave 4 test of around $92 to $95. Looks like that could, of course, happen, but doesn't necessarily have to happen, right? You know, something else I'll be watching is RSI. You can see RSI starting to break out already. And then we also have a 2-hour squeeze setting up as well. So with this kind of slingshot momentum coming back up to the 0 line, it's a little difficult to see. Let me see if I can zoom in. Maybe not. You can see it's starting to tick to the positive side already. So I think something to keep an eye on definitely will be FSLR. Next up is FUBO. So with FUBO, what I'm possibly tracking here is an ABC correction. Now, this could be this wave, wave 2 here could be already complete with an ABC. It could be a really small ABC. The other possibility is this is wave A. Wave B is going to come up. We'll get some sort of rejection in this $32 range, and then wave C will come down to maybe $22.50 to $25 in this range here. And part of my process is teaching while I do. And so what I look for in wave 2s is generally an ABC correction, and ABC should terminate somewhere between the 0.382 Fibonacci and the 0.618 Fibonacci from your waves 1 to 2. So if you do a Fibonacci retracement from this bottom to this top, you're going to get a buy zone generally around here. Usually it's at this 382 if it's strong. If you get a slightly weaker pullback, then 0.5, and then sometimes you're going to get it down to that 0.618. On occasion, you will see it come down to the 786, but I mostly see the really strong stocks that are going to give you really good wave counts. They're generally going to bounce somewhere between this 382 and 618. So just something to keep in mind if you're doing the charting yourself. Right, next up is GRWG. Got a little bit of a fake out earlier, I think in the week last week, Monday or Tuesday. Got this fake breakout here. I thought we were starting wave 3. We came back down, so I think we had an ABC correction right down to the 618. We bounced right off that 618 retracement. And you can see back here in the beginning of this wave 3 here, price came right into that 50% retracement, bounced up, came right back, tested it again, the 50% retracement, and then started to move off of it. So that's what I'm kind of looking for here. Are we going to come back down and test that 4409 level? And of course, I never treat these levels exact. You always got to treat it with as a range, give it a little bit of leeway. But that's what I would be looking for. And then a potential, if we can break the center channel line here, this 1-2 channel, then I'd be looking for a breakout over the channel and a move either to 57.30 or upwards of $62 on GRWG. All right, next up is match MTCH. So what I'm tracking here is a breakout of a symmetrical wedge. We've already gotten that breakout. That breakout has given us now a flag. I think what we have is a 1, 2, 3, and then we have our wave 4 pullback here. And we see the break in the channel already. Where we can confirm wave 5 activity would be over the height of wave 3, which is 167.45. That should take us to about 175 to 180. That would be my target zone if we do get that breakout there. Next up is now. Did take a position on now into the close of the week. We did get a break of these all-time highs at 565.43 back here. So I do like now. Now, of course, no pun intended, now, of course, we could, of course, get a false breakout, right? So we did get a confirmed breakout. But on Monday, I would just watch for a reversal close under that 565.43 level. That would invalidate the breakout. I might close my trade out and then wait for another confirmed breakout over 566. But RSI looks pretty good. We are getting a breakout here on the 2-hour. No squeezes to note here on the 2-hour either. But these would be my targets on the way up. Next up is NVTA. So in NVTA, I am tracking a 1-2 channel here potentially. Actually, no, apologies. I think this is our initial impulse wave up. So we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a potential 5 to the top of the channel, targeting $37.65 to just about $39 there. And you can see RSI, although this is a little crooked, I could fix it. Let's see. Looks like RSI is breaking out here. So watch for NVTA to make a move up to this $38 region in the next couple of weeks. Next up is Path. Path, I don't have a specific wave count for it yet. It is a newer issue. But what I was thinking this could be is an ABC pullback with a breakout of a falling wedge here. So I am tracking Path. I've been acquiring stock for long term over the course of the last couple of months. So I do want to see if we can get some constructive wave activity moving back up to the $90 region. Next up is Snap. So Snap gave us a nasty sell-off, but when I went back and I charted it, we do have a nice rising channel here. So you can see we had some resistance up here, and then we had an ABC correction back down. Now we have potentially wave 1, ABC, wave 2, with a slight pullback here on a 1-2. So possibly tracking a 1-2, 1-2 right here. Could show you, I don't have it charted out, but wave 1, 2, and then subwave 1, 2. That's possibly what's going on here. but I would still wait probably for 69.50 to target the 75 to $80 region up above, which is what I've been targeting for Snap. It's just we had that ugly sell-off, and of course it comes right at a resistance line. So next up is Space, SPCE. Richard Branson literally went into space today. They had a successful launch and a successful return back to Earth. So I would watch for Space to make some moves this week off that news. But of course, you know, buy the rumor, sell the news. Not that it wasn't rumor, but the news event is now done. So now we would need, I think, another catalyst to send Space to that next price. So I would watch for a potential explosive move, maybe on Monday pre-market, and then possibly a blow off top, and then a retracement back down. So if we can break 57.56, then it gives us the opportunity to move higher. But I think it all depends on where we open up on Monday morning. I think that's really going to be the key. I think if we break out and open above 57.56, then I think we can run a bit. But if we break out just under there, I would watch for a double top failure and then rejection and move back down. Next up is TSM. Shout out to one of our analysts, Merck, who brought this one to my attention. It's got a beautiful symmetrical wedge formation here. So possible WXY retracement with a 1-2 setup. So again, looking at a 1-2-1-2. Those are starting to be my favorite setups. So you have your 1-2, 1-2, and then the confirmed breakout would be over this level here. Let's check what that level is. I think it's like 122. Let's find out exactly. It's actually exactly 120. Actually, it's 122. Yeah, it's 122 even. So over 122, that's a confirmed breakout. We do need to watch this level here at 127.40, but if we can break that level, then I think it opens us up to a wave 3 to about 140. And TSM being a semiconductor, semiconductors have been running pretty hot. AMD's been looking good. NVIDIA's been looking good. So watch for TSM to make its move this week. Next up is Twitter. Twitter's been moving pretty fast relative to what Twitter usually does. It's usually a slower mover stock. I have been watching this. I did take a trade on it, but I actually closed the trade out on this gap fill over here, right into this move. So now we're kind of starting to pull back and possible wave 4 activity here. So don't necessarily see a specific trade here, but I think if we could break the recent highs, then I think we could target upwards of $75 to $80 in the coming 4 to 6 weeks. Next up is VALE. You can see on VALE we have a nice ascending triangle. I have been tracking this for some time now. So, let's see if we get that break over 23.02. I do have an alert set to go out into the room. But I think over 23.20, 23.25, that should confirm a nice breakout. And then I'd be targeting 23.84 and 24.88. VALE is one of those stocks that just moves really slow. So you have to have good patience for a trade like that. And last but not least is VUZI. Shout out to Steve. I know this is one of your babies. I know you've been asking me, to update the chart. So here is again potential 1-2-1-2 setup. All right, so you have 1-2-1-2. That's the way I'm seeing it right now. And of course, when these waves develop, things can go definitely the opposite direction of the way you think. And all that means is that your wave count was wrong. And then we revisit it and we try and analyze it to see, what new information we can plug into what's going on and is our thesis changed. So we always have to be, as traders, as Elliotticians, you have to be open to change your mind based on your thesis, if the data changes and is different than what you anticipated. But on this wave 2, we have an ABC. If we have that, that bounce off that 618, then I think our target zone would be around 28.72, which is a 200% extension off of this 1-2 move here. And then if we do hit that level exactly or very close to it, then our wave 4 pullback should be somewhere in the zone of $23 to $25. and then wave 5 potentially up to $32 to $35. So that's what I'm looking at this week. I appreciate you being with me these 20 minutes, taking out time away from your family and friends. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I will catch you in the markets tomorrow morning.